Assalamu alaikum. Today let's talk about two hadith that hold great potential for prophetic problem solving in a practical manner. One that I'm going to call the fever hadith, and one that I'll call the porridge hadith. Those of you who are familiar with hadith, you're going to know the ones that I'm referring to, and there are multiple hadith for each, I believe. So both of these have literal applications as well as a practical application to many different aspects of life in a holistic manner. And inshallah, you'll see where I'm going with this. So for instance, in the fever hadith, you have people who are concerned that when they are sick, they are being punished by Allah. And we see in the hadith, our Nabi, peace be upon him, he reassures the people who are sick that any illness, that it could be it could be viewed as a punishment, it could be viewed as a test, or it could be viewed as a purification. And inshallah, it is a purification. So when we consider this, I'm of the mind that our worldview determines how we practice. And an incorrect view of the world, of reality, an inaccurate reading of reality will lead to improper practice. And therefore we will have unhealthy, sorrowful results. But if we are practicing in a healthy manner, then we have more and more beneficial results. So let's apply this hadith in a practical manner. So let's think about, the second category was illness as a test. Now remember, in life, if we are in an upright, healthy state, if we are whole, then we are healthy. A state of health, bodily, mental, spiritual health, is a state of wholeness. It's also related to a state of uprightness in the true spiritual sense. We should have healthy spiritual immune systems, and we should cultivate that by taking excellent care of our bodies and our minds through ethical and pure living, through ethical and pure inputs and outputs, through our practices, in our intentions, in our thoughts, in our wording, in our actions. If we are not in a state of wholeness and uprightness, we are in a state of dis-ease, of discomfort, of disharmony. We are in a state of illness. So we do not want to be in a state of illness. So oftentimes a state of brokenness, a state of disrepair, is related to a punishment, because we have come out of harmony with natural law. Because kun is infused into all things, Allah has natural law infused all around us and within us. For those who can read with open eyes, open ears, and open heart, who contemplate all aspects of reality, who read reality deeply, then we need to consider that in this state of wholeness, of proper repair, of seeing things clearly, then we are in a position where we can live in a harmonious flow state. And that's where we want to be, is in a harmonious, egoless flow state. We want to be in a state of wholeness. All right, so if we go into disharmony, then we create sorrow. We fall into sorrow and disharmonious states that cause suffering to ourselves in body and mind and energy, and we cause suffering to others. We become a walking hell realm, and others experience us as a walking hell realm, because in that state we bring disharmony and sorrow and suffering to others, and then they bring that to us. So that's a state of punishment. However, a correct view of punishment, it's also a healthy view of punishment, is that it's a corrective. Allah gives us correctives. When we go through a difficulty, a state of suffering or sorrow, it gives us a chance to make corrections. That's where we make tawbah, where we turn away from that which is unhealthy, that which is disharmonious, and turn toward that which is harmonious and healthy and whole and upright. So we come out of punishment by taking the corrective. So everything is a test. The test is that every single moment is an expression of the hereafter, and we are using all the tools and insights that we've gained from previous experience, that we have contemplated and derived insight from. So that's where we have, where we pass the test. And we go from, because what happens is, information is all around us. We sift information by seeking knowledge rigorously. When we find knowledge, knowledge is like a jewel that when we apply it in our lives in a practical manner, then it leads us, because the proper application of knowledge is wisdom. And wisdom is always compassionate and open-hearted and open-minded. And when we have experience, when we've applied knowledge properly in a consistent manner, then we begin to contemplate this experience and derive insight, which is a form of understanding or overstanding. This insight leads us from out of mental and energetic enslavement and spiritual enslavement into a state of freedom, into a state of sovereignty, which is our natural way. It is upright, it is whole, it is complete. It is a place where we experience our interconnectedness with one another, and there is a harmony within. So this is when we pass the test. Now, the third category of this hadith is purification. So when we are in a state of illness, if we view it as we start applying what we have learned. So for instance, if we are in a state of physical disrepair, of physical disease, and we apply our problem-solving methodologies, and we have a proper toolkit organized, then we're going to begin eating properly in order and drinking properly and breathing properly and using proper postures, proper sleeping, proper sun, proper social interaction in order to harmonize and become upright in a physical sense and come into bodily health, bodily wholeness, and which anything bodily always is connected to the mental. Body and mind are deeply interconnected, and it's hard to know where one begins and the other ends and where they're connected. Body and mind are where the two seas meet. And it's hard to know which sea is where their separation and unity exists. All right, so this is on a deeper level. We'll consider this more, inshallah. But I want us to consider that there's this purification that we go through. This is the Tawbah and Tazkiyah process. Tazkiyah is a purification. So there is Tawbah and Tazkiyah bodily, Tawbah and Tazkiyah mentally, Tawbah and Tazkiyah energetically, Tawbah and Tazkiyah spiritually, holistically. We take a holistic approach to everything in Islam, because Islam is surrendered to truth in every area of life, in our thinking process, in our speaking process, in our actions. And in this we become Muslimin in the true sense, as we come into an egoless flow state, because idolatry is having unhealthy attachment to falsely, artificially constructed views, wrong views of people, places, things, and ideas. And these unhealthy attachments always lead to suffering. Suffering bodily, mentally, communally, maritally, familially, socially, in all aspects of our life. And so we want to come out of improper view and come into correct view. This is done through seeing things in the light of truth. And true worship is when we are appreciative and present in everything that we do, thought, word, or action. And every aspect that we consider part of worship, like the 5 pillars, all of those are related to a holistic way of becoming upright and whole making. So I would consider us to contemplate our devotional activities as they relate to every aspect of life. So we have discussed the first of these 2 hadith, the fever hadith, as it relates to a purification and going from a state of illness and disease and disrepair into a state of wholeness, into a state of purification. So in the next episode, we will discuss the second hadith, which is the porridge hadith, and how it is part of the practical, prophetic, problem-solving methodology that we're discussing. So please contemplate these things. Leave your insights and experiences as they've related to the fever hadith, which has a literal expression, a symbolic expression, but a practical, holistic expression. So until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.